Let's take a look at some information and charts on Chainlink for Brave New Coin. So Chainlink is a decentralized Oracle network that is multi-exchange, multi-chain, multi-business, multi-purpose. It's like the Swiss Army knife of DeFi that actually slices and dices. It doesn't just say it's going to be doing things. It's quickly become a key pillar of the DeFi environment milieu across the board. They just announced their 2.0 white paper, 100 pages. I'm not going to go through it, but that was on April 15th. Obviously, check that out if you are deep in the Link ecosystem. If you are a Marine, you already know about this anyway. But in general, how Link works is that it acts as a go-between for data, computation, off-chain, on-chain, intra-operability. And you can see all the exchanges and blockchains listed here. Link doesn't care where it goes and why. It's not an ETH maximalist. It's not a Binance maximalist. It just gets the job done. And if you're buying a coin, that's a great reason to buy something. If it's doing something it said it would be doing, and it's doing it everywhere, right? I mean, I don't have a better way to say that, honestly. So that's Link. Here's some of the data that they provide. It's just some of the price data. You can check that out, how that works, what an Oracle is, how it functions. You can see where it pulls the data from, that sort of thing. And this Oracle data is used all over the DeFi ecosystem for all sorts of trading functionality or lending and borrowing functionality, all sorts of stuff. I always like to talk about the token supplies when I can. So currently 420 million are circulating. Smart Contract Limited, the parent company of Link, continues to sell 5 or 6 million Link per month, and they're selling at an increasing pace. Whenever I bring this up, the Marines tell me it's for business development and all that other stuff. Great, but it's not a good look when insiders are selling as fast as they can. And maybe there's some implicit contract that says why they're doing what they're doing. I don't know. But if you calculate the notional value of this, it's quite substantial. So I hope they're putting the money to good use. What I need to look for is if they have a like quarterly report. Smart Contract Limited does some sort of quarterly report on their holdings as far as what they're doing with it. But anyway, it's just important to know, right? Even if the chart looks great, even if I'm on my deserted island and I just look at the chart, it's always good to know how much coin is out there, who's buying, who's selling, what's going on. Grayscale announced a Chainlink trust a few weeks back. It's currently the second smallest trust they have behind BAT, which was kind of surprising to me. I thought the Link trust would see a lot more interest than it has, I guess. But I guess, it's still early stages for that product relative to some of this other stuff that's been around. Even LivePeer and whatever else they decide to list here. Link seems more above board than most of these listed. Something else I like to look at if I have the data is the exchange reserves, and Link exchange reserves continue to decline. So something else to mention about the tokens is that in the grand scheme of things, volume-wise, this is nothing. It's a drop in the bucket. It's 5% or less per month of total trading volume for Link. So it's not going to affect the price, but for me it affects the sentiment and what's going on behind the scenes. So I'm not trying to FUD Link, Marines. Just important to lay it all out there, know the facts. In any case, the exchange reserves to me look bullish. They continue to decline. So as long as there's demand and supply is dwindling, you expect bullish price action. It's really that simple, which is why the opposite is true when you see selling. I get concerned when there's selling because that applies selling pressure on the price. If we look at the transaction counts and average transaction values, transaction counts continue to increase relative to 2019, relative to 2020, relative to even a couple weeks ago, a month ago. Average transaction value is increasing as well. So everything's up and to the right for the most part. Transaction counts have been volatile and get volatile, but as long as they can remain in the current range or slightly higher, it's hard to be bearish on anything that looks like that. Active addresses in the fill here, again, same story. Really the third highest period ever for Weekly active addresses, monthly active addresses creeping up again. You can see monthly active addresses got extremely hot in January this year. NVT, inverse metric of economic utility, basically at an all-time low, creeping up slightly. If you're bullish, you want to see this declining, and at lows, that says there's a ton of on-chain activity relative to market cap. So on-chain activity for Link looks better than most DeFi tokens, honestly. If we look at Chainlink price and Google Trends, you can't really search Chainlink in Google Trends because that's a real world thing. We are seeing new highs in searches or Google related terms for Chainlink price surrounding that, articles, whatever. So again, hard to be bearish when you see that. If we zoom in a little bit more, I think it's on the decline, but still relatively elevated from where it was even in 2020, even in early January. So everything's still bullish on that front. And as far as the Link TA is concerned, probably the most boring, straightforward, in a good way, out of anything I really look at lately. It's got a pitchfork, which is a trend indicator, determines are we in a trend? Can you draw a rate of change from any point in time until today? The answer is yes. We can go back to 2018 and it's just up and to the right. That's what you want to see. The yellow line is the median line, midline of the pitchfork. That's where price likes to live, and it's hugged to that price frequently over the past few years. The trend will remain intact so long as this pitchfork holds, so it's at no risk of anything right now as far as canceling itself out. Overbought above the pitchfork, oversold below the pitchfork. Honestly, one of the tighter pitchforks I've seen ever, other than BTC's pitchfork pre-2017. So this looks like it's just slow and steady continuation. Not super exciting, not going to like outperform him or wow anybody anytime soon, most likely. But it's one of the safer bullish trends in DeFi generally. It's above the 200-day moving average as well, by the way, in the red here. R5 yearly pivot at 60. I like 60 by the end of the year. Easily. We'll see if it gets higher than that. But in general, this is what you want to see. You don't want to see this like up and down type stuff in any chart. You want to see this slow, methodical, multi-week, multi-month, multi-year trend. Set it, forget it. Exactly what you want to see. And it's, for many people, it's getting harder and harder to ignore, right? You know, I was buying maybe back here for probably like the first time ever in like 2020, just because at that point, it's just, you know, Link isn't going anywhere anytime soon. The price chart looks great. Can't ignore it. Here's the 2-day cloud. Again, it's been a bit noisy on the cloud trend metrics. You know, it gets squirrely in here, but the signals are still valid as far as telling you to remain long, hold your long, add at anything sub 25. If it gets below the cloud, then the trend is at risk. But all in all, it looks fine. For bullish continuation on the USD chart, the BTC chart looks like it's ready for a large breakout for the first time in a long time. Previously, it had this head and shoulders that broke way down. And you get your V, your atom left, falling wedge right here, broke up. Now you get your U for your atom Eve, and here's your horizontal resistance. Oh, by the way, it's also a yearly pivot. We're above the 200-day moving average now, so I like 0012, 120K sats within the next few months easily. That, you know, this, I don't know what the USD chart would look like relative to BTC. Maybe we're talking 60 quickly, but this looks like in a vacuum it wants bullish reversal. You know, you don't get patterns like this without expectation of bullish reversal, and you don't get patterns like this without expectation of bearish reversal. There's another Adam and Eve here as well, by the way, so this chart is no stranger to that kind of chart pattern. So this looks good. Honestly, this looks good and very bullish for Link BTC. Link ETH, another one to look at, just because typically people are rotating in and out of both of the high cap coins like Link, ETH and BTC. Link ETH on the daily also had this head and shoulder type pattern that broke below the cloud, broke below the 200-day moving average, and just got slaughtered immediately, right? Now this is why people say like TA is stupid. It's just nonsense, voodoo, chicken bones. you know, I agree with those people, but when I see stuff like this, I'm like, okay, well, clearly somebody's paying attention to the 200-day moving average, whether it's people or bots or people who code bots, right? Like the sell-off was swift below the 200-day moving average, you know? So if it can get above the 200-day moving average again, if you can recapture that, I like it to the upside. It looks like it's reconsolidating for a push above the daily cloud for the first time in a long time. So if this triangle can hold and it can get a bullish Kumo breakout, price above the 200-day moving average, I like it against ETH. So for me, it's an easy buy and hold on USD, an easy, almost textbook chart pattern on Link BTC, and Link ETH looks ready to bust up bullish as well. So all in all, Link's not going anywhere. They clearly have a strong foothold in DeFi, anything related to DeFi, in exchanges and data. On-chain metrics are more bullish than most of DeFi related tokens, because most of DeFi tokens are governance tokens, and you're generally not going to see a lot of on-chain activity with those. And Google Trends even look favorable. So there's nothing like majorly exciting about Link from a like price perspective. They just continue to slowly, incrementally get better and better and better. 2.0. I already mentioned that a bunch of times, but everything looks fine. You know, right? I'm bullish Link. If you want to check out the managed DeFi portfolio for Techemy Capital that I am managing, Link is part of that portfolio somewhere down here. Yeah, Link. Okay. So it's definitely part of that. How this works is a non-custodial portfolio management tool. You can send ETH or USDC through a MetaMask or equivalent wallet, and it gives you a share in this price, and then you can cash out at any time. No minimums, no maximums, but just keep in mind gas fees are extremely high. So if you are sending less than a couple thousand, you're going to eat a significant portion of that to gas fees. So that's all I have. If someone like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe, and happy trading.